On the sixth day of Christmas, my throws coach gave to me 6 pillars connecting. Okay, I gotta crack myself up every time we do this. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. So what does that mean? What are the 6 pillars of the throw? You've heard me reference this throwing chain reaction system. You've probably watched a bunch of our videos, or maybe you're brand new and you're checking it out. So really quick, what is the throwing chain reaction system, and what are the 6 pillars, and how do they connect? That's what we're gonna talk about. Number one, it's first of all, it's important to understand the 6 pillars are based on PhD proven research on this is what PhDs and biomechanics said, this is how the shot put and the discus work. These are the 6 phases of the throw, and what I was smart enough to be able to do is use that research as I was starting to teach it, because what did I do? What am I gonna do when I started this over a decade ago? I wasn't going to teach things that I thought were my opinion. I was going to teach and apply things that are fact. Now, the fact that more people don't realize this, I find very interesting, and here we are, you know, a decade in with tons of success stories, national champions, guys at the pro level that we've helped go from, you know, never making the NCAAs to becoming, you know, hitting world standards and doing all kinds of different things. We've proven the system works at every single level, and it works year in and year out, and one of the trademarks is that it works quickly. So the 6 pillars are really quite simple. Number one, we have pillar 1, setting up the chain reaction, and physics says for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. This is our first principle, and we talked about this in one of our other tips, that it is the principle of action-reaction. So when you do certain things, if I wind like this, I'm gonna enter the throw like this. If I'm nice and torqued up and long, I'm gonna be nice and long and fluid into the throw. So pillar 1, setting up the chain reaction, or AKA the wind-up, is one of the most overlooked parts of the throws in my opinion. I see the vast majority of athletes, both shot putters and discus throwers, winding up incorrectly. So one of the things to make that easier is we've identified what we call our 6 positions that set up the chain reaction. Now, we never think really about 6 positions. We train it to understand it and understand how to break it down, and then we put it together all into one nice fluid movement. So one of the things we will teach, and again, to all of our throwers and coaches, you have to understand that the pillar 1, setting up your wind up, is very specific, and some athletes are very intuitive and will just set up a really good wind up. These are the athletes who tend to be bigger, faster, stronger, more body aware, and understand how to feel and make adjustments fast and correlate a good position to a good throw. Whereas a lot of athletes, I've had both good athletes and athletes that don't have this connection, and they can't tell the difference really well between a good position and a bad position. So that's one thing that we'll talk about in some other tips that you have to learn. Now, position number 2 is what we call setting up maximum power. This is the concept of we've set up an axis and we have to rotate around that axis and move into the throw. So there are very key things. That's why we refer to pillar 1, setting up the chain reaction. Pillar 2, setting up maximum power. Once you've set up maximum power, which means rotating around the axis properly, setting up the sweep leg, the sequence of getting the lower body ahead of the upper body, and being on balance so that we can start our sprint, which is pillar 3. And so we move from 2 to 3. Pillar 3 is dropping in. We move into the throw and we apply speed. So this is where you're really going to attack and start accelerating. That's a big question we get from a lot of people. How do I improve my throw? You have to be able to apply speed. It's not about necessarily throwing harder and faster at the end. It's about understanding how you create the classic long to short and slow to fast. It's a big movement to a accelerating smaller movement. That's what makes it go out. That starts in pillar 3. Pillar 4 is the axis transition. In the discus, we're really concentrating on slowing down the upper body, getting that discus to the high point, and in the shot, we're gonna be stopping that balance arm and folding into that arm. We call it the hold and fold, whether it's the discus or the shot, but we hold the chest and fold at the elbow in the discus, we hold the arm and fold at the shoulder in the rotational shot. Connecting now from moving from pillar 4 to pillar 5 is locking down power. So the key thing is we wanna understand that the power position we break into 2 pieces, and it's locking down. We wanna get the legs loaded, bent, so they're rotating fast into the finish and ahead of the upper body, so that if you're in the discus, you're gonna create the nice stretch and radius, and if you're in the shot, you're gonna stay squared up and really punch as you move into the finish. That's all starts in pillar 5, and then we move into pillar 6, which is the finish. We're gonna hit our block, nice extension in the discus. In the shot put, we're typically gonna have the long arms, square shoulders, and we're gonna be driving out, and you're gonna notice each time I demo this, I'm always moving towards the camera because I'm moving the delivery side around the block. This is a very tricky part of the throw, but your finish, your pillar one start is going to have a massive impact on your finish. So if you set up off balance, your weight's wrong, you cut into the throw, you don't set up maximum power, therefore your ability to apply speed is going to be limited. Your transition in the middle is going to be off because you're just increasing being off balance. By the time you get to the power position, you're going to be coming out of that power position too quickly and you're not going to be able to hit the finish. More often than not, we've had athletes with phenomenal finishes where we did very little on the finish and we do all the work on pillar 1, 2, and 3. So setting up the chain reaction, setting up maximum power, and applying speed, and when those things are on balance in the right positions, you're typically going to hit that type big finish. So those are your 6 pillars, and connecting all of those are really all predicated on setting up the chain reaction and understanding each position so that you understand how to fluidly move and connect. What we talked about in our tips, where we talked about 2 types of drills. So we're always going to be training sequence, timing, and then we're going to always work on positions, but we want to have that time where we work on that full throw where we don't think about much, we set up the chain reaction and we react, and that is how you're going to hit those big results fast. All right guys, hope you're enjoying your tips. Again, be sure to check out our TCR method program, live coaching every week, get drills, system, tons of bonus packages. Check the link below for all the details, see everything's included, jump in it, and we hope to see you there. And we'll see you guys on the next tip. Take care.